What is good YouTube, Ollie King here, back with another Mortal Kombat 1 video. Today I'll be looking at the cameo fighters that I personally want to see in the game. You might have noticed that there is no Kung Lao or Sub-Zero, etc. on here. That's because I have a little theory, you see. What if the whole cameo roster is just cameo exclusive characters, and in order to equip a character who's also playable, you actually have to backtrack to the main fighter selection screen and get to choose a playable character as a cameo. Now that's probably not the case, but it would be cool. The characters I do have on here, which are already confirmed, are Frost, Sonya, Jax, Kano, Sector, Cyrax, Goro, and Striker. Like I said in my main roster video, they are all very solid picks. And I'm really glad to see Striker back, especially with everything that's been going on in the past couple of years. I don't think anyone expected for him to return. Oh, I was also gonna put Triborg on this roster, but that quickly got shut down due to the Link Way trailer. Anyways, rules of the video. I'll only be looking at characters originally from Mortal Kombat, and I won't include any characters that are already playable. Pretty simple. Only 2 rules this time. With that said, the first spot belongs to Motaro. Everyone's been crying out for him, and I cannot blame them one bit. He's a centaur, which is pretty badass by itself and allows for some crazy cameo moves, like a tail projectile or a charge, or healing the main fighter. That's one that I've seen many creators mention. Plus they could really give a mostly forgotten character some much needed spotlight. Oh, and please change his fatality if he gets brought back. Second up, we have Scarlet. The concept of using the opponent's blood against them by solidifying them into weapons is really out there. And she has major cameo potential through her blood ball, tentacle, and even her launcher string, which they could rip directly from MK11. In the third spot, we have Moloch. He could assist characters who are mostly rushed down and lack projectiles. As we could see, most of his moves use that chain chomp he always carries around. It could work like Scorpion Spear, but instead of pulling the opponent towards you, it pushes them back. And it could also serve as an anti-air if the up D-pad button is held. He's once again a very forgettable character that could finally get a glow up. In the fourth spot, I put Chrome, a character who was not previously seen in an official title, but you know, we did see a fan-made character make it into MK before, so I wouldn't be surprised if it happened again. And since Ed Boon has teased a pink ninja for this game, which honestly it's kind of a stretch. But if he does make an appearance, he could be accompanied by Chrome, who from what I've seen and heard can turn his skin into metal, which allows him to use his own body as a weapon, like an upgraded Baraka if you will. But yeah, a white ninja cameo and the pink ninja fighter would be cool to see. Next up is Taven. I'm a little biased with this pick since I only just started to experience MK Armageddon. But honestly, I love his character and his abilities. His appearance could be changed though. Oh, and by great abilities I mean his beat 'em up abilities, like the slam, time stop, teleport, and fireball. Though I guess the rapid punches and shoulder charge could also make it in, as they're pretty useful moves. Then again, this is a reset timeline, and Taven didn't do a whole lot in his story, so I doubt we'll see him return. Next in line is a character who was really cheap in MK11, and that is Jade. I remember the early days of Mortal Kombat 11 where everyone was just bashing on the character for her OP moves like the Shadow Kick, the move where she wasn't affected by projectiles, I forget the name, and of course her crazy range. Every single one of these moves could make for a great assist move. Projectile invulnerability could be given to the main fighter directly by Jade. Her Shadow Kick could be useful for finishing off combos or just keeping distance from the opponent. And her boomerang could be a good projectile. Yeah, this broken character could work as an OP cameo. Next up is Shinnok. Yep, just plain old Shinnok, not his corrupted version. This is because he has way more cameo potential than the boss version, thanks to his skeleton hands, which can be used to flick the opponent, just like the assist in MK11. But he could also gain some new moves, like straight up grabbing the opponent, allowing the main fighter to start up a combo. I'm also pretty sure he has a Quan Chi type trance and Shang Tsung's Rising Fireballs. Perfect cameo if you think about it, combining the 2 sorcerers, as well as possessing his own moves. In the next spot stands Aaron Black, a character who was just so cool and edgy, until for some reason he wasn't. His character has a heavy focus on zoning, which could work very well as a cameo. One of his moves could be his rifle, another could be a ricocheting bullet, a dynamite toss, and will also throw his dropkick in there for some good measure. And since cameos keep their very first appearance, we would see him in all his drip, and we'll most likely see a reimagined version of his MKX fatality. Next is one bulky character who will have no right showing up if Onaga does, unless he's featured as a cameo of course, and that would be Blaze. He could utilize his ball roll, a rising uppercut, a flame ball, and his teleport, which since he goes under lava during it will very lightly damage the main fighter, like Ruthless Ferritor. The next cameo is one that I doubt many people thought of, and that is Saibot. Not Noob Saibot, just his clone, since I'm sure he's more of a mantle than a part of Noob's powers. In game, he could be made to look just like the main fighter, but fully black. Saibot will also have his own moves other than copying the main fighters, despite looking almost identical. He'd have his slide, his teleport, his tackle, but also a little something from Noob, that being the Ghost Ball, which is a pretty slow but unblockable projectile which slightly stuns. I originally had Devora in this spot, but I've looked back and grew wiser. Instead of Devora, I added Boraicho, as to be honest, anyone is better than Devora. Gameplay wise, she's alright, but her story mode sins cannot be forgiven. Anyways, Boraicho is a joke character, meaning he'll have some wacky moves like his puke, which instead of directly hitting the opponent will actually stay on the ground and make them slip if stepped on. He'll also have his fart, which as we all know is a very effective stunning move. He'll have his belly bash for some ranged options, as well as a launching string from his MKX Bartetsu variation. Plus his recreated fatality will be elite.
Oh, that was a wet one.
Next up is a ninja who is definitely somewhere in my top 3, and that is Tremor. He, as most minor characters, was done very dirty in Special Forces, being a lousy palette swap, who was then fully redeemed in MKX, looking as badass as ever, and later on even being featured in an animated movie, which is a pleasure not everyone has. One of his moves could be the giant rock which drops from the sky and onto the opponent's head. Another one of his moves could be the rolling rock, as well as the earthquake. And lastly, the devs could add a move where a spike erupts from the ground and pins the opponent in place, allowing for, you guessed it, a combo. I'll now discuss two characters, even though I put them in separate slots, as I think they're similar enough, those characters being Chameleon and Chameleon. I might as well turn into a redditor and just call them Chameleon M and Chameleon F. Looking at Chameleon M, he could have the moves of the 4 most iconic ninjas, being Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Smoke, and Reptile, though I assume they will appear in the game, so maybe switch out Scorpion and Sub-Zero for Ermac and Noob. Chameleon could have Ermac's Lift, any launching string from Noob, Smoke's Smoke Bomb, and Reptile's Time Slow from MKX. And his grab could utilize both Scorpion and Sub-Zero's abilities, spewing fire from one hand and ice from the other. NetherRealm just hire me already. As for Chameleon F, she could possess the moves of Kitana, Melina, Jade, and Tanya, since she pretty much is a ninja just missing the mask. She could get a ball roll from Melina, Kitana's Whirlwind, Tanya's Fireball, and a string from MK11 Jade. Her grab could just be Scarlet's ripped directly from MK11. The devs are already reusing quite a bit of assets, so I don't see why not. Oh, and both of the characters' fatalities could be reimagined, since I'm pretty sure in MK3 Ultimate and MK Trilogy, they would just have the fatality of the classic ninjas with 0 changes. Give them something along the lines of Triborg's fatality, but done by 1 person opposed to 3. Second to last spot, we have Nightwolf, another Trilogy era character. His abilities all serve very different purposes and are all very useful in their own right. His first ability could be his Deflect, which could aid characters who aren't zoners and need to get close to the opponent to do any damage. His second ability would be his Shoulder Charge, third his Bow, and lastly a one-hit launcher utilizing his axe. Before I reveal the final spot, I want to remind everyone it was mentioned that NPCs, or in other words characters who have never been playable, have a chance to be featured as cameos in this game. I originally had the Shadow Priest in this spot, but I changed my mind. I could have also put the Executioner / Blacksmith, any Outworld Beast, or even a plain zombie in this spot, but I ultimately decided on a NetherRealm Demon, also known as an Oni. I know Moloch is also an Oni and looks completely different than this funky guy, but this is his name in Mortal Kombat Mobile, so I'll stick to it. And I know we kind of saw this in Injustice 2 via Enchantress, So why not have it return in this game? The model is already there. Just cook up some brand new moves and you got yourself a Kameo. Make him a little wild. Have him claw and bite the opponent. Maybe have him slam the ground and launch the enemy just like in Injustice 2. Overall a very unique NPC. Just not explored enough. Anyways, that is all for today's video. I don't really say this in videos and usually put it in the description, but do make sure to like and subscribe to help a homie out. And hit that bell to stay notified. The next video will either be another MK Armageddon playthrough or a discussion video. I hope you guys enjoyed as always, and see you in the next one. Peace.